Let's hear from the White House now on all of this. White House Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley joins me now. And Hogan, thank you for being here with me. Tell me this. The president is now looking at what's happening, and there'll be this vote today. If they vote to release this Democratic memo, what will the president do?
The president will use the same methods, same mechanisms to go over that document, just like he did over the Republican memo. In fact, you'll remember we talked in great length about the president meeting with his team at White House Counsel, also with members of his national security team to deem whether or not the contents of the Republican memo threaten national security at all. He will do the same thing and take the same painstaking care to look at the Democrat memo as he did the one from the Republicans.
We know from the president on Hot Mic right after his State of the Union, Hogan, that he had every intention to release the Republican memo. Of course, at that point, he had 5 business days to review it. Will we get any sort of forecast on this as we did on the other one?
You'll have to ask him. I haven't talked to him about that, but I do know about the process itself, and it will be treated the same and given the same level of respect that the Republican memo was given.
You know, the president sent out a scathing tweet about little Adam Schiff, who's the Democrat in the House Intel that's working on, we think, the second memo and their version of it. Can you talk with me a little bit about how this plays a role from the White House officially taking a look at just kind of the process and all of this, as you mentioned?
Well, it's what I mentioned before. I mean, look, Democrats have what they are saying is some bombshell memo as well. You remember the much ballyhooed Republican memo. Democrats came out and said that this was going to destroy American security and the like. And then when the memo came out, said it was a real nothing burger. Of course, that's just ridiculous. The president, though, will do the same thing he did with the Republican memo. He's going to meet with the team because the president would never do anything to put American lives in jeopardy or at risk. And so that memo has to be scrubbed clean of anything that reveals sources and methods. And if it does that, we'll wait and see what the president does.
All right. I know he has said he wants full transparency, so we will just see what happens. Yep. I want to talk with you now about immigration, because February 8th, just a few days from now, later this week, we are now facing another deadline for budgeting for the government, and we could face another shutdown. What does the president think about this new bipartisan plan with Senators Coons and McCain?
I have to give it to Senator Coons and McCain. Congratulations, because it takes a special kind of person to write a bill that is worse than Graham Durbin.
Wow.
They did it. It is incredible. You have to have a border wall and a security package. The president has been very clear about this. You have to end chain migration. You have to end the visa lottery. Absolutely, the president wants to fix DACA, but let's be clear. Not having a border wall is the same thing as Senator McCain going to bed at night and locking his front door but leaving all the windows open. It doesn't address the main problems that hurt America's security. And walls work. That's the secret. In 2.5 decades in San Diego, it's not even a full wall, it's a fence. Border crossings have gone down 90%. Around Jerusalem, they put a wall. It stopped suicide bombings. 99%, it cut down on illegal immigration crossings in Jerusalem. They work. So in order to protect the American people, you have to have a wall at the border. Everyone in America sees this, and for some reason, these bipartisan bills keep coming forward that don't address the problem. We can't be in the same situation 5 years from now that we're in today. The president won't let that happen.
All right. So with the deadline, February 8th, still looming, where are we in actually moving forward? I mean, I understand that some of this, Hogan, is just how you get a deal made. I mean, Chuck Schumer takes off, $1.5 billion for the wall off the table. And then you talk about, some other things like amnesty, perhaps for hundreds of thousands of people, up to 2 million, if you will, in terms of those dreamers who are here. So you've got some back and forth. The president tweeted this: any deal on DACA that does not include strong border security and the desperately needed wall is a total waste of time. I'll let everybody read the rest of that on their screen, because I want to ask you now, a waste of time. Is the government going to shut down again over this?
I sure hope not. But look, Senator Schumer went around saying after that meeting with President Trump, his own meeting, saying, I offered him $25 billion for the wall. If he offered $25 billion for the wall, and that's actually in President Trump's package, Senator Schumer shouldn't just say he'd vote for it. He should sign on as a sponsor. It's everything the Democrats wanted on the pathway to citizenship, and 3 times that of what President Barack Obama offered them. Plus, it actually fixes the problem. We've been talking about this for a long time, and a line in the sand was drawn over the shutdown a couple of weeks ago. Democrats were very clear that they were willing to put the American military at risk, children at risk, 8.9 million of them, in fact, that get health care from the government. They were willing to do that in exchange for hundreds of thousands of people here illegally and unlawfully, as opposed to protecting hundreds of millions of American citizens. If that comes up again, Democrats are in a tough spot here because they've shown their cards, and the president came out and said, here, I'm going to give you what you want. Let's see if you're serious about fixing the problem. And to this point, they are not.
All right, real quickly, there is some reporting that this could get kicked down the road a whole nother year, leaving people in limbo again, from what you're saying. It doesn't sound like members of your own political party with this president are even listening to him. If you said it takes a special kind of person to write a worse bill. Okay, we'll move on. The president is about to be in front of a whole lot of people in Ohio. And I want to talk with you about his message, his tax message today. We can't lose sight of the Dow. It's been rather anemic the last week, and that's been part of the White House sort of, touting those tax cuts. Talk to me.
Well, the American economy is strong. Look, we've seen like 71 record days on the stock market since the president took office. It is exponentially better than when, obviously, he took his seat in the Oval Office. But listen, we just announced 200,000 new jobs in this country. We're seeing wages go up for the first time in 8 years. The economy is strong. Obviously, the Dow moves in cycles, but the president is going to be in Ohio today talking about the impacts of the tax cut. He's going to be at the Schaeffer Corporation. There are several other folks representing several other companies there who gave their workers bonuses. There are like 3.5 million Americans now that have received bonuses from their companies, not to mention the fact some of their wages have gone up too. It is a true American success story, and I do think it should be duly noted that the Democrats said that this would cause irreparable damage to the economy and hurt the American worker. The actual opposite has occurred, and we're stronger as a country economically. Manufacturing's coming back, and people get to keep more of their own money. Truly a success.
All right, and I know that John Huntsman will join him. I want to give you a quick word of who's joining the president today. I think that's the first time that Mr. Huntsman would have joined the president.
I believe so, and I hadn't heard that yet. But look, I guess he's just back from that polar bear plunge. Didn't he just get out of the icy waters over there?
Hogan.
So, didn't he?
Yes.
Right, yeah. Good for him. He probably wanted to warm up a little bit. So
all right,
good.
No doubt. Ohio in February is where you can warm up from a polar bear challenge, right? Okay, good to see you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We'll cover that with the president when it happens live, obviously. Thank you.